welcome back to the whole bucket. Today is Zebra Talk number 10. It is, I titled it, Support Staff Continued. It's actually not the same as last week. It is a branch. Today, we're going to talk about professionals, healthcare professionals of any kind. Psychologist, doctor, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, physical therapist, occupational therapist, surgeon, anesthetist. Don't forget those. Very, very broad topic. And we'll have to see where this is going to go. I think this is going to be just like every other page in this journey that I'm finding out, or every other prompt that I'm discovering. They're broad and may need revisiting. They may need revisiting in the future because they are so broad, and because I'm finding that I need to stop talking about a particular thing when there's all kinds of more details we could get into about that particular thing. So how could health professionals help more? This one is tricky. I think something has bumped my camera because that looks very weird. Hold on one second. Let's see if we can unwarp this a bit. I guess I'm just going to live with that right there. How could health professionals help more? This one's tricky, but how do you know what to ask for unless you clarify it in your own mind first? List what comes to mind at any level of your healthcare. Let's talk about what in the world I mean by that. I'm going to see if I can at least identify a few things that I can get at this stage. But I want you to know that this is such an extensive topic that while all of this that I'm doing publicly is for me personally, right? I'm doing a personal thing in a public way, and you should be doing it whatever is appropriate for you and applies to you. This particular topic, I completely forgot what I was saying. This particular topic is even more so, I think, anyway, even more so. This is bugging the bejeebers out of me. Something is not right with the way my camera is sitting today. Okay, let's try that. This one is even so much more personal and in-depth that I'm not really sure what we're going to accomplish today. Hopefully, like every other time, we accomplish clarifying it for ourselves and identifying at least a direction to go. So I'm going to pick a... You know what? I have a Zentangle for today. Again, don't know if this is actually a Zentangle, but we're going to make some little friends. So let me show you what I mean. And then let's start talking about how health professionals could be more helpful. I really need to get my head out of the real world, and I hope this helps. It has in the past. Let's just assume it's going to this time too. I'm going to make a swirl, and I'm going to close it wherever I choose. Make your swirl as big or as small as you want and close it at some point. And then we're just going to do some extra. Get smaller and smaller. And then fill in a circle. And then we're going to turn it into a bug or a snail or a something by going like that. So that one's crawling across the top of my page, obviously. I'm going to make one crawling up my page by going like this. Close that swirl. Do the same thing with getting smaller and smaller. How many you do doesn't matter at all. And then do a U shape right through his head. I'm going to do a few more of these, big, small, and maybe, I don't know if I think of any differences to make in them. I'll do some differences, but that's what I'm going to do for my tangle today. Let's talk about how professionals can be more helpful. So let me tell you let's start by telling you a story about how a couple of my doctors were the absolute antithesis of helpful. I was so unbelievably sick in my early 30s that my husband and I both thought I was going to die if I didn't find a doctor to help me. I won't get into the big long explanation of what was going on and what condition I was in, but I will tell you that I was desperately seeking for someone to help me. And this is the responses I got from a couple of different doctors. One said to me, well, it can't be that bad. You made it to this appointment. Yeah, he said that. It took my entire day's energy to get to that appointment. And I had 3 little kids at home, and I had jobs that I was failing at keeping. Don't even get into that, but that was a mess. I had another doctor that I ended up yelling at. I'm kind of proud of myself for this one, but he said to me, you're just looking for a problem and there isn't one. At that time and at that appointment, I had told this doctor that I was having blackouts that would last anywhere from seconds, like maybe even a blink. It's a blackout. I'm not entirely sure. To hours, literal loss of hours, complete loss of hours. Scary. Or did I mention I had little kids at home? And I would lose hours. I know that I was functioning during those hours because one time in particular has really funny stories attached to it. Perhaps I'll tell those someday. But what ended up happening was my earlier memory was at the end of dinner time. My after memory was the kids were all in bed. I apparently put them to bed and talk to men and all the stuff. Terrifying. I don't even know how they got there, but they were all in bed and they were safe. And I was in the kitchen, last memory, when I woke up. I wasn't sleeping because I was putting the kids to bed, but when I popped back into reality, I was watching TV on the couch. The kitchen lights were out. The chairs were pushed in. The living room lamp was on. I was cozy. The kids were in bed. Oh. Okay. So I went to the doctor and he said, you're just looking for something to be wrong and there's nothing wrong. If you're having blackouts, there's something wrong. Like seriously wrong. I yelled at him. I said, I don't care if I have a peanut allergy and you tell me to stop eating peanuts and I'll all of a sudden be all better. Or I'm dying in 2 weeks. I just want to know what it is. Oh, he looked at me all shocked. I don't remember if he said any more words to me at all. But that was how I felt. I was so mad. I was so mad and so desperate. The very first thing I can think of as how can medical professionals help more is the biggest one I say almost every time we talk is I talk about listening. Listen, for crying out loud. Will you just listen? Right now, I won't say which doctor it is. I have a great many of them. But there is one doctor who treats me for symptoms they think I should have instead of the ones I actually wish I was being treated for. It's a little frustrating. That doctor might want to learn how to listen a little better. I don't intend on changing that doctor, right? Because we end up communicating and we end up getting to the right place. And there are a lot of things I'm happy with. I'm just saying that even the bestest of situations could use some improvement if people would just learn to communicate better. That quite possibly means me too. But in this case, we are talking about the professionals that take care of us. We are in a state where we are vulnerable and we are the people who are requesting the help. So we don't always communicate our needs and our wishes and our experiences as well as we should. And the professionals that are supposed to be helping take care of us, it is their job to figure that stuff out. And not all of them are good at it. In fact, a great many of them are not. I eventually got my behinder to a doctor who did listen and listened really well. I told him at the beginning of my appointment with him that if he thought, like other doctors had told me, that I was just crazy, that this was all in my head, I don't care. I don't care what the answer is. If you listen to me and you decide that this is all in my head and I'm just crazy, then put me in a frickin' crazy hospital because I can't survive like this anymore. Right? I said, I don't care what the answer is. Get me care for whatever the heck is wrong, and serious care, because I think I'm going to die. He did. He actually ended up interviewing me for 3 hours. And it was discovered that on top of everything else, not everything else was discovered, right? Just this one thing. But this one thing that was discovered gave me some of my life back, and it was sleep apnea. Apparently, it had been a great many years since I had actually slept the way people need to sleep to get better. And I was losing my mind. Literally. Losing my mind trying to figure out what the heck was wrong. I got my CPAP machine, and it certainly helped. It did not make the whole world better because it was one diagnosis on top of 100 things that are wrong, and zebrahood explains a lot of the different things that are wrong, but that was a long journey to get there, and I was talking I said early 30s, right? So late 20s to early 30s was a extraordinarily difficult journey till I got that CPAP machine. It gave me parts of life back, but I didn't get the EDS diagnosis and the MCAS stuff until about, it's heading on 2 years ago now. But 1.5 to 2 years is a very short window of learning and understanding what's really going on after a lot of years of just struggling through it, man. So the first thing on my list is listen. What can health professionals do? Listen. What else can they do? Gosh darn it. Health professionals in general should really learn. I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Health professionals in general should learn that first of all, they should learn that they are also always learners. I guess I'll write that too, because it applies to everybody in every situation, but we forget it. And it's so important in medical situations. Always learn. Oh my gosh, here's another one. I'll write this down. But in this case, it's not their fault. Make more time. Me communicating with you and processing stuff, I am a particularly slow processor. I take quite a long time to process information and to come to clarity of what that means for me on a practical level. Okay, so not always, but a large part of the time that is true. I would like it very much if doctors had more time to interact with their patients. And I know that you professionals, or you healthcare professionals out there, have also expressed how much you wish you had more time with your patients. This is totally the insurance company's fault and people's individual budgets. Like I wonder if I have two very favorite healthcare providers right now, and I wonder if I could make like 5 or 6 back-to-back 15-minute appointments with them. Let's just hang out and work some stuff out. I do have a doctor that I really like who is not able to provide the kind of care that that person would like to provide for me, and just has no problem letting me know that this is a funding thing. This is an insurance thing and a funding thing and a whatever. I do know that there is an EDS clinic here in Minnesota that I would like to get into, but the waiting list for people like me on Medicare is years long. I think that I could benefit from getting into a clinic like that, years long. There is a healthcare facility that I have been sent to, so it's Courage Kenny, for rehabilitation, and working with their physical therapists in the warm pool is amazing. It does such fabulous things for me. It keeps my muscles functioning better than they do normally, and me just working on my own and regular physical therapy. And it causes far, far less injury because of the warm water. I wish I could go there all the time, but I can't get myself up to go there. I can't drive there. I don't have anybody who's going to drop their life and take me there, and I can't afford it. So I can think of all kinds of things to put on this list, but how could healthcare professionals help more? Drop your prices, man. Just do it. Should be, how can health insurance companies help? Drop the prices, man. Drop those copays and deductibles and what have you. So this one, I don't know, not their fault really. It's not in their control, but I wish they could. What else can doctors do to help me in particular? So I want to get a little more specific if I can. This is an awkward time for me to come to this question because I'm kind of throwing temper tantrums at healthcare right now, and I'm not going. I have all kinds of appointments I should make, and should go to. And I'm just, every once in a while, it's just too much. And I just don't go. Also, kind of up to my ears in health bills. And I don't want to add to it. So, you know, I'll pay off a few bills a little bit and then I'll go again. And I'll, you know, resume my care. In the meantime, it's a little bit difficult to think about what should I specifically ask for or talk about, or what do I need from them when I'm kind of detached at the moment. They should always listen more. They should remember that they should also be an always learner. I wish they could make more time, but they can't. Here's something. Create a chart of, I'm actually going to do this myself because this isn't something that medical professionals do, but I want to create a chart of symptoms and diagnoses. How do you spell diagnoses? Is it just ES instead of IS? I've never written the word diagnosis in plural. I want to create a chart of the symptoms that I have and how they, just the symptoms I have, right? And the diagnoses on another plane, and which ones are attributed to which condition. Because when I'm having a particularly hard time, it's hard for me to remember which situation I need to be treating. And maybe if I have a chart like that, I can look at what's going on at any particular time and remember that it's associated with this thing, but oh, wait a minute, it's also associated with this thing. Is there something I can do to ease both of them? Or if there's something I can do for this one and it's not working, is there something different I can do for this one? And is that going to work? Because I'll tell you something, it's really hard to keep your head around all these things that are going on. Even when you think you know them. Even when you think you got it down. You might not. And it changes over time, even if you do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, man. Okay, so I would create a chart of symptoms and diagnoses. Here's another one. And I think I'm going to end here because I'm liking that I got these two out of my head. And I think that these are really two that I want to concentrate on for now. But create a chart. Oh, the other thing that this chart idea can do is it can look at symptoms that don't have a diagnosis associated with them. Meaning, are these diagnoses correct? Or is there another thing going on that hasn't been figured out yet? And is it maybe affecting the other things on the list? I meant to, and I didn't do it. I meant to print out what my diagnosis list is, and hopefully I'll remember to do it. There are other people like me. I know you're out there. If I showed you my diagnosis list, it might make you a little dizzy if you're not someone who has stuff like this going on. I don't remember how many things are on it. And the major ones, right? The EDS, the MCAS, the PTSD, I think are the three things that kind of drive everything else. All the other things on the list, as far as I know, see, I need the chart. Okay, let's just say most of the other things on the list are byproducts. Also ran, caused by, etc. The initial three things that I just mentioned. Again, don't know if that's true. The chart would help clarify that. But I think that a lot of the things on my list are created by / driven by the three main. So creating this chart would do an awful lot of good things. Create an... I can't spell anymore. That means it's a good time to quit. Itinerary. Create an itinerary of care. Oops, I didn't mean to put a period. Here, I'll just make it a fancier Y. Create an itinerary of care. So, I don't really care what you're dealing with, I guess, right? It could be a little tiny thing, or it could be 5 million things like me. First, second, and third, and fourth and fifth, and 192nd on the list. And adjusting that list as necessary should be a thing. Sometimes you can go to your doctor and they will write out where you're assigned to go, what happened at this appointment, what you're going to do to take care of your current thing, and when you should get back to them. That's okay. I think we can build on that toward itinerary and come to a really, really good care thing for people. And it doesn't have to be. Like, some of the things that I've come home with are 5 pages long for a 15-minute visit for a sore throat. It's an example. I don't know if that's exactly accurate, but it doesn't have to be so wordy. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be complicated, right? This itinerary of care could be something super easy that is kept in your purse or wallet. It could be kept online in your MyChart. It could be kept by your doctor. And it should be super easy to look at and say, here's where we are, here's where we're going, here's what's next to get there. Oh my goodness, something cropped up in the meantime. Here's something that happened. We have to pay attention to this first and then get back to your itinerary. Okay, take care of this thing. And then where were we again? Oh yeah, look, right there. We were right there. Such a helpful idea. I don't know how to do it. I don't know what it looks like. I do know that I have a healthcare professional in my care team that watches this. At least watched some of them. I hope they're watching this one. Because, hey, we could do this. We could do this. We could revolutionize healthcare. Okay. I'm going to go. I'm getting too goofy. See you next time. Bye.